Now let's do the jacket. To save some time, I made a screen capture of a jacket pattern that worked pretty well before, so I'm just going to trace that and then put all the pieces together. So first off, I'm going to make a big square, add a fabric, and then load in my texture, and then apply that to this big rectangular I have here. Now it's a bit hard to tell how big we have to scale it, unless we have something to go by. So I'm going to come up close, and I can see here it should be 115, so I'm going to click with my rectangular pattern tool and make the width 115. And the height, let's make it 40. So this is 115, so we need to scale this up quite a bit. Something like that. Maybe a tiny bit more. Alright, and then let's start tracing it out. So I'm going to take a rectangular pattern tool and make a shape, add a segment point, and then curve it. Now this blue thing here, that's a dart, so let's take our dart tool and make a dart that's around that shape. It doesn't have to be very wide, it can be narrow, just as long as there's a dart, so that you see it then, when it's sewn together, that nice line there. That's often in the tuxedos. Segment sew it together, and then add all the internal lines. And if you're confused if you've already traced something out, you can always hide the texture to see what you've got there. And what this thing here is, it's actually two rectangulars, internal shape rectangulars. Copy that and then paste it down. And the one that I pasted down, I'm going to make a bit wider. And this will be the breast pocket, so this wider one is going to be the black piece that goes over the jacket, and then this will be for sewing on that white piece that goes into the pocket. And basically this thing here is going to be the pocket flap. Depends what kind of style tuxedo you're doing. Some have pocket flaps, some have these two little black kind of slit things. I'll show you how to make both. This I want to be the height of 4, so it's actually better just to make a new one than to trace that one out. And then this thing I'm going to copy as an internal shape and then rotate that. And we'll deal with that later. Alright, so there's two button shapes things here, so let's make those as well. And then trace the rest of the pieces. And this is going to be the breast pocket, but instead of tracing it, I'm just going to select the shape here, copy as pattern, paste it, and then do the same thing with this one. Now the reason that this is curved in a bit was to take in some extra material. Curving it in just ever so slightly already makes it a bit tighter in him and got rid of some soft extra material. Also, you can see that this back pattern is shorter than the front. And in fact, let's make it the same length and then I'll show you why I made it shorter. Like that. Now how I got the exact shape of this collar, let's hide everything. I took this, copied it, and then pasted an extra copy, and then I transformed it. So it's lying against the other one, like when it's sewn together. And then we can see that this shape here To make the collar fit perfectly, we have to make it almost exactly the shape. Not exactly, because I did curve this out a bit, because there was like a sharp meeting point. It was sort of squarish, so I gave it a bit of a curve. And then basically what I did was I took my polygon pattern tool and traced out something like this to start with, and then did an unfold on it, and then played with it a bit more to get it to the shape I wanted. Also depends how the points are before you unfold them. If one is in more, it's going to unfold differently. So just play with it, and once you sew everything together, you can play with it more, adjusting it to make it fit perfectly. I'm just going to trace it out, save some time. And then unfold it. And you can see it sort of looks weird. So let's just adjust that point before we unfold it. Still doesn't look so nice. Let's try it again. And there we go. Alright, then I'll copy this and symmetric paste it. And do the same thing with this one, copy and symmetric paste it. And with that label as well. And there it is high up in the sky, so let's bring it down. And take these back pieces to the back. Go to thin textured surface so we can better see what's what. Flip horizontally. And I'll deal with the pocket last of all, so I just deactivate that in the meantime. Now I'm going to assign the jacket fabric to the jacket, and the jacket collar fabric to the jacket collar, and the jacket label to the jacket label, and assign the jacket breast pocket white part to that smaller pattern piece up there. Now let's sew it together. So I'm going to segment sew this to here, and then edit the sewing, extend it down, or we could free sew it. And then this I'm going to sew to here, and this to here. So basically this internal shape is with the shape of this. And this one I won't sew so that you can see the difference. And then this will go to here, and this to here. And this part will go together. And then this button, free sew, double click to this one. And then as usual with the symmetric patterns, if the notches are facing the wrong way, so edit sewing, reverse sewing. And then the collar I'll do afterwards, so I'm going to deactivate that for now, simulate. And let's freeze the pants, we don't need them active. And these I forgot to sew. So this white one is going to go around to this inner shape, and then this outer one, which is going to be black, is going to go to this outer shape. You could just stick the jacket fabric on it for the meantime, and then simulate. So going to turn off fold rendering on these lines. And then hopefully we don't see it too much. On the other side we see it a bit, for some reason it's still showing there. So once you're done with everything, with changing the width, moving these points in and out to make it tighter on his hips or wider, etc, etc, then you'd want to remove symmetry in these two, so that you can delete these shapes here so you don't see those lines there.